Air Force One landed at Yokota Air Base. That is where the president is due to make a short address. You are looking at live pictures of U.S. troops awaiting his arrival. After that, he will be heading to the golf course for a round of talks with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Following this story is Tokyo-based journalist Michael Penn, and he is looking into and following this diplomatic tour of the president. He joins me now live. And Michael, the president has just landed in Japan. He is going to hold a series of high-level meetings, including a meeting with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. What can you tell us about what we should expect from those talks?
Well, the main topic is almost certainly going to be North Korea, and probably a lot of the messaging which we hear about afterwards will also be about North Korea. There's going to be a strong effort to convince the world that the United States and Japan stand shoulder to shoulder and very toughly about demanding that North Korea stop its missiles and nuclear weapons development. So I think that's definitely going to be the top story. There is a more contentious issue regarding trade where Trump has certain demands on Japan, but I would expect to see those things downplayed with more of a focus on the friendship and the camaraderie. Both men basically want to come out of this looking like they have a close and tight and friendly relation with the other, and I think that's what we're going to see a lot of in public.
This is going to be quite a lengthy trip to Asia for the president. He's going to South Korea, China, Vietnam, the Philippines. Given the war of words going on between Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, how likely is this visit to the region going to ease tensions?
Well, ease tensions, I don't think, is one of the likely possibilities. It will either not have an effect or it will raise tensions. The messaging, like I said, will probably be fairly hard line towards North Korea. And with Donald Trump, you're never quite sure what's going to come out of his mouth. So, you know, he could very well ratchet things up and much further by saying something that's over the top. So I do think that it's a time when we should be looking for increased tensions with North Korea, and probably not at this point do we see any window for getting out of the crisis that we're in right now.
This trip also comes at a crucial time for the president. One of his missions is likely to sort of ease international tension over his America First agenda. How important is it going to be for the president to convince people that he is with them and not solely focused on the United States?
Certainly many countries in Asia and many leaders in Asia are looking for that kind of message from the United States, especially, say, Southeast Asia and Japan, sort of the offshore countries, all very much depend on the United States, as does South Korea. But on the other hand, like I said, it's kind of Trump himself is unpredictable. His attention span may not be the greatest. And at least in Japan, I think they're going to try to keep it very light. And in other countries, too, you know, I would doubt there'd be too much substance simply because the United States has a leader who's not a detail-oriented person. And even the staffing on the American side doesn't really exist. Many of the deputy secretaries and other policy-making people have never been put into the government. So I don't think you're going to see too much of a transformation.
And Michael, as we're talking to you, we're looking at pictures of U.S. President Donald Trump descending the stairs of Air Force One along with his wife Melania. And as he steps into Japan, he's also stepping away from some big problems back in the United States. His former campaign chairman was just indicted. Another advisor just pleaded guilty to part of an investigation into possible collusion with Russia in the 2016 campaign cycle. How important do you think it is for the president at this time to really pivot away from the problems at home and focus on something else, that something else being what's going on in Asia?
Well, actually, I expect it'll be rather the other way around, which will be that Trump himself is going to have trouble getting his mind out of what's going on back home, and this is going to distract him from you know, the things he needs to be doing in Asia, and there'll be an effort to try to keep his mind off of the troubles at home. He's a wounded president, and the indictments of his former campaign manager and the Mueller investigation, which is going forward and is very threatening, is something which is going to dog his presidency going forward and could end up being an even much more serious issue. So I think that you're going to see the crisis back home is going to distract him and to weaken him as he does this Asian tour.